This video tutorial covers the process of using mapping resources to work on site selection for the Kentucky Restaurant Guild's offices in Western Kentucky. And you're following the instructions that are laid out in the assignment in the course syllabus and schedule. So the first thing that you do is open the map West Kentucky KRG project in ArcGIS Online, and especially more especially in ArcGIS Explorer Online. And when it comes up, this is the map that you have. This is a familiar presentation of the ArcGIS Online Explorer interface that you'll work with in several different projects in the class. So let's take a look at what the resources are that are available. By clicking that arrow, you expand the layers that are displayed. And notice that we have two demographic layers, one with both median household income by county and the other median household income by block group. And simply by changing the one that you've selected, you illustrate that layer, display that layer in the map. So the first thing you can do is look at the distribution of different variables across the region by county and also by block group. Because you're interested in things other than income, you need to change the ones that are displayed, and you have a couple of instructions for doing that. Let me show you how that process works. With the layers open, you simply click this right arrow here, go to the display button and click configure. Now notice we have median household income now, and we want to change that to retail sales across the area. So we select the attribute here. X1501X is the value for retail sales. Change this to quantile, the classification method, and leave classifications at 4. And notice now that when we do that, the map has changed. In fact, let me real quickly do one other thing while we do that. I'm going to show a different color ramp just so in case you wanted to use something else to show that you're doing a different variable. And now that changes to blue. Okay. Back arrows to get back to this level. Now notice that it's not telling us that it's retail sales across the region. Let me show you how to change that. That's with organize. And now median household income has been changed to total resale sales by county. And then if you click the map legend here, it shows you the ranges of retail sales by county across the region. So you will make some changes to those classification schemes to display different data within the map before you go on to the process of site selection. Now in the process of site selection, you use queries that have already been established for you, and you'll use those with the criteria that are listed in the exercise. So to do that, click on the query button. You have two. Notice the query of country data, county data is the one that we're using, so click on that one. And as you see, you have the possibility of creating a query that looks for households and regions for a variety of different measures. The ones you're interested in are the number of households, you want those with 20,000 or more, median household income of 40,000 or more, and 20% or more of adults with a college education. So here's how we do that. For number of households, it's 40,000 with no comma. Oops, 20,000 with no comma. Median household income is 40,000, and percent of colleges with adults. Now do this as a decimal is 0.2. And real quickly, if you move the cursor over the text box, it will show you the mean value across counties in the region. So now I'm going to click OK to that query. It is performing a move the legend out of the way. It's performing a multi-criteria query across several variables, and here are the three that show up. Now you can see them highlighted on the map here, but also they're listed in the query results on this side of the map. The one in red is the one that's selected. That's County 8, and if you use this arrow, you'll see the specific values for that county. That's McCracken County. And notice it has population of 65,000. It has percentage of college degrees, almost 32%, and median household income of $42,625. So if we want to look at the other counties that are selected, there are two ways of doing that. One of them is to move down with the arrow keys here, and notice we've moved to Christian County, and then on to Davies County, which is the other county that's selected. Or you can click on them on the map. Okay, so now it's going to be one of those three counties that we're going to use as the focus of the next stage of our search, which is going to be to look at the block group level for block groups that have the highest levels of population and percentage of households with a college education. Now I'm going to focus on a county that is not selected just so you can see the procedure, but you are guided to one of the other counties that will be the one in which you make your analysis as we proceed. So let's get rid of these query results. I'm going to zoom in on, this is the zoom button, I'm going to zoom in on one of the other counties that we're looking at. And then now we're going to do the query at the block group level. Now there are no specific numbers here, so I'm going to start with a block group population of 2,000 and percentage of college education with the same 20% that we did. And then I'm going to look in this area for block groups that meet that criteria. Now to see those, I need to change the display, and so now I have a series of block groups in that county that I'm looking for. So to find out the values of those, I can simply cycle through the ones that are selected. And so now we have population of 2,000, percentage of college workforce at 22%. And I simply look block group by block group for the values that I'm trying to consider, percentage of college education and number of people who live in the block group. So those are the two factors that you take into account, and you look for block groups that meet those criteria within the county that you had selected previously, and those have been three of those block groups are the ones that you turn in as the possible sites for the Kentucky Restaurant Guild's office, and you explain the process and explain the reason that you've chosen to identify those. This shows you how you can get the results by query, but you can also simply use the pop-up window once you've identified the block groups to compare them that way. So there's the block group, the demographic values for that block group. So that's the process that you use to use this map to analyze the market area in West Kentucky for the Kentucky Restaurant Guild and to select a site for their office location. And that's the conclusion of this video tutorial.